In our last story, we saw the cycle of chaos during the time of the judges. Today, we find a quiet story of loyalty and love that shines like a bright star in that dark period. Back in the days when the judges ruled, a famine swept across the land. A man from Bethlehem named Elimelech, along with his wife Naomi and their 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, left their home to find refuge in the foreign country of Moab. But their search for bread led to heartbreak. Elimelech died, leaving Naomi a widow in a strange land. Her sons took Moabite wives, Orpah and Ruth, and for about 10 years they made a life there. Then tragedy struck again. Both Mahlon and Chilion died. Naomi was left completely alone, without her husband and without her 2 sons. When she heard that the Lord had once again provided food for her people back in Judah, Naomi decided to return home. Her 2 daughters-in-law started the journey with her, but on the road, Naomi stopped. She turned to Orpah and Ruth and urged them to go back to their own mothers' homes. "May the Lord deal kindly with you," she said, her voice heavy with grief, "as you have dealt with the dead and with me." She wept, telling them she had nothing left to offer. She was too old to have more sons who could become their husbands. "It grieves me," she confessed, "for the hand of the Lord has gone out against me." With tears and a final kiss, Orpah turned back. But Ruth clung to her mother-in-law. Naomi pleaded with her, "Look, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and her gods. Return with her." But Ruth replied with words that would echo through eternity. "Do not urge me to leave you, or to return from following you. For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there will I be buried." Seeing Ruth's unwavering loyalty, Naomi said no more. So the 2 women traveled on until they arrived in Bethlehem. The whole town was stirred by their arrival. "Is this Naomi?" the people whispered. "Don't call me Naomi," she told them, her voice filled with pain. "Call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty." It was the beginning of the barley harvest. As it happened, Naomi had a wealthy and influential relative through her late husband, a man named Boaz. One day Ruth said to Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and glean ears of grain behind anyone in whose sight I might find favor." And Naomi told her to go. As fate would have it, she happened upon a field belonging to Boaz. Soon, Boaz himself arrived from Bethlehem and greeted his reapers. "The Lord be with you," he said. He noticed Ruth and asked his foreman, "Whose young woman is this?" The foreman explained she was the Moabite woman who had returned with Naomi, and that she had worked tirelessly since morning, asking only for the chance to gather leftover grain. Boaz approached Ruth directly. "Listen, my daughter," he said kindly. "Do not go to glean in another field, but stay here with my young women. I have charged the young men not to touch you, and when you are thirsty, go and drink from the water jars." Overwhelmed, Ruth fell on her face, bowing to the ground. "Why have I found such favor in your eyes," she asked, "that you should take notice of me, a foreigner?" Boaz answered, "I have been told all about what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your native land and came to a people you did not know. May the Lord repay you for your work, and may you be richly rewarded by the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." At mealtime, he invited her to eat with his workers. He even instructed his men to purposely pull out stalks of barley from the bundles and leave them for her to gather. That evening, Ruth returned to Naomi with a large amount of barley. When Naomi heard she had been in the field of Boaz, her eyes lit up with hope. "This man is a close relative of ours," she explained. "He is one of our kinsman redeemers." Seeing a path forward, Naomi devised a plan. "My daughter," she said to Ruth, "should I not seek rest for you, that it may be well with you?" She instructed Ruth to wash, put on her best clothes, and go down to the threshing floor where Boaz would be that night. "When he lies down," Naomi instructed, "go in, uncover his feet, and lie down. He will tell you what to do." And Ruth replied, "All that you say, I will do." At midnight, Boaz was startled and turned over to find a woman lying at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am Ruth, your servant," she answered. "Spread your protective cloak over your servant, for you are a kinsman redeemer." "Blessed be you of the Lord, my daughter," Boaz said, moved by her character. "You have shown more kindness in the end than at the beginning, in that you have not run after the younger men, whether rich or poor." He promised to do as she asked, for the whole town knew she was a virtuous woman. But there was a complication. Another kinsman had a closer legal claim. Boaz promised to settle the matter at the city gate in the morning. Before she left, he filled her veil with 6 measures of barley, refusing to send her back to Naomi empty-handed. The next day, Boaz went to the city gate and sat down. When the other kinsman redeemer passed by, Boaz called him over, along with 10 of the city elders. Boaz first explained that Naomi was selling Elimelech's land. The kinsman quickly agreed to redeem it. "But," Boaz added, "on the day you buy the field, you must also acquire Ruth the Moabitess, the widow of the dead, in order to perpetuate the name of the dead in his inheritance." The kinsman immediately backed out, afraid of jeopardizing his own inheritance. He took off his sandal and gave it to Boaz, sealing the transaction. Then Boaz declared to the elders and all the people, "You are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's. And moreover, Ruth the Moabitess I have acquired to be my wife." And the people blessed him. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. The Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. The women of the town rejoiced with Naomi. "Blessed be the Lord," they said, "who has not left you this day without a kinsman redeemer. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you, who is better to you than 7 sons, has given birth to him." Naomi took the child, laid him on her lap, and became his nurse. Her bitterness was washed away by joy. The neighboring women gave him a name. They called him Obed. This is the story of how a foreign woman's loyalty and a good man's kindness were woven into God's great plan. For Obed became the father of Jesse, and Jesse became the father of David, the great king of Israel.